Happy Sabbath, everyone. This morning I'm going to be talking about something exciting. And the first thing I'd like to say is that there's always hope. The right arm of the gospel is the health message, right? And so today I'm going to be talking about strength training. Let me see if this works. Okay, it does work. Okay, more than just muscles. I don't want to stand in the way here, so I'm going to step down. Lifting weights, also known as resistance or strength training, offers profound benefits beyond just building muscle. It profoundly impacts nearly every system in your body, contributing significantly to overall health and well-being. Building a strong foundation. Weight training causes tiny tears in muscle fibers that repair and grow stronger, leading to increased muscle size and functional strength. Muscle tissue burns more calories than fat, even at rest, increasing your body's energy expenditure throughout the day. Resistance training stimulates bone growth. Isn't that interesting? So when we exercise, we strengthen the muscles, it stimulates bone growth. Preventing conditions like osteoporosis, crucial for aging health. So I know a lot of people is like, and in the culture that we live in, when we get older, we tend to think that we don't need to do some kind of strength training, but it's actually very good for us. You know, when you go to the gym, you think you're adding on muscle, but you're not. You're sustaining the one you have. You know, all of us that have kids, you know, like I have a son who's getting older. I'm working out so that when he comes to my face and says, "What you gonna do, Dad?" I'm gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm big too. So what you gonna do?" I want to be able to run with him and do things with him, spend time with him. So I want to be healthy with him. In fact, when you invest time in exercise and working out with strength training, you're actually investing time in your family because you get to live longer. And we're going to talk about that later. Let's get to the next slide. It says here, lifting weights reduces symptoms of depression and anxiety, improving mood, confidence, and overall well-being. And those of us that are married, if you want to have some extra happiness, just go work out. Feel better, both of you, because of the stresses in life. You know, having kids, you know, your job, you know, your boss, so on and so forth. Increased calorie burn long after workouts due to increased muscle mass and post-exercise energy use, supporting fat loss. So a good way to lose weight is if you build muscle, it will burn the fat. Very interesting, right? Strengthens core and stabilizes your muscles, aligning the body and protecting joints from everyday injuries. So the thing about it is, when you work out, you know, our body is, majority of the tissue in our body is muscle. Without muscles, we can't really do anything. We can't support our bones. We can't even support the other organs in our body without muscle. So that when we work out, we're actually sculpting our body when we use heavy weights because it helps and strengthens the muscles. One person asked me at work, "Man, you work out. What are you working out for?" And I said, "I'm working out for my own body because I'm about 6'3". Do you imagine 200 and something pounds, 80 pounds? Probably like, you weigh 280 pounds. I need a lot of muscle to carry this body, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm heavy. So I work out so I can carry my body. It makes daily activities like carrying groceries, climbing stairs, or lifting objects easier and safer, enhancing functional fitness. Positively influences hormones like testosterone and growth hormone, vital for muscle growth, recovery, and energy. So it is healthy for anyone at any age to do some kind of resistance because what happens is that we strengthen our body and it helps us to live longer. Strength training, a foundational pillar of health, crucial for long-term health and independence, not merely for appearance. The bonus is that you get to look good, but you know, that's another thing. Combats sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, or in some cases, when I was in the medical field, when you didn't use your muscles for a long period of time and you were bedridden, they would call it muscle atrophy. It's like if you don't use it, it just goes away, right? Prevents chronic issues, improves insulin sensitivity, supports heart health, and strengthens bones. You see, I don't have a lot of money, so it behooves me to work out to prevent having to go to the ER, going to the hospital, and so on and so forth. It says here, maintains mobility and capability in daily activities, standing, carrying, and I put the words in red, but avoiding falls. Very interesting. Something I'm going to point out to you later on. I just have a few more slides. It says when you're working out, you do muscle training, your legs, your arms. It helps you to prevent you from falling. Very interesting. Even 2 to 3 sessions per week make a significant difference complementing nutrition, sleep, and cardio. Strength training is not optional, but foundational for a healthy aging process. Remember when you were 22, 23, 24, you're in school, you're doing sports, and you were like vibrant, you were strong, you were like invincible. And as you got older, things start to get a little bit harder to do, and that's actually normal. We were meant to continue all through our lives to strength train and to do things that are heavy. And one thing I want to point out is in the third world countries, which I'm from, the women from very young, 10 years old, up to when they're older, they carry buckets of water on their head. They'll carry like food, and every day they have to lift it up and put it on their head. So essentially, they're doing hard labor and they're exercising, and so that's in a third world country. We have a little bit easier now. We don't have to carry food on our head. We just put it in the cart and put it in the car and go home. So this is from Ellen White's writing called Reflecting Christ. It says, the glory of young men is their strength. Attention to health is one of the most important duties. We owe this to ourselves, to society, and to God. Young men and young women are proverbially careless in regards to their health. Exercise is indispensable to the health of every organ. If one set of muscles is used to the neglect of others, the living machinery is not being worked intelligently. When physical exercise is taken, the circulation is quickened. The heart receives blood faster and sends it to the lungs. The lungs work more vigorously, furnishing a greater amount of blood, which is sent with stronger power through the entire being. Exercise gives new life and strength to every part of the body. The nerves gain or lose strength in accordance with the way in which they are treated. If used too long and too severely, they are overtaxed and weakened. If used properly, they gain strength. In order to have health, equilibrium of action must be maintained. The mind must be harmonized with this. If physical exercise is regarded as drudgery, if the mind takes no interest in the exercise of different parts of the body, the benefits will not be realized. The mind will be interested in exercise of the muscles. It says, in the education of the youth, physical exercise must be combined with mental taxation. So even Ellen White agrees with strenuous physical exercise. Now I wanted to point out, this is a lady, her name is Dr. Vonda. And you see, our health message has not stopped. It still continues. God revealed certain things to Ellen White, but he couldn't reveal everything to her. And we'll talk about it in a little bit, but the health message is progressive. We are learning more, and we're finding out that there are things that we should do that can keep us healthier for longer. How do I play this? Do I just hit the play button or push it again?
I want you to lift heavy weights. Put down the little mamby-pamby pink weights, please. I want you to lift as heavy as your bones will let you for 3 to 6 reps. This is how you build stem cells. This is how you build mitochondria, which are the powerhouses, and this is how you're not going to fall down from a standing position and break your hip. Number 2, I want you to work in 20 jumps a day. You could do it just like this. This works 20 times. You could go up and down stairs. You could jump rope if you want. That will build better bones. Lift heavy and jump up and down. There is a myth in this country that you have to gut it out and sweat it out in all these boot camps to get really healthy and fit. Not true. Pro athletes spend 80% of their time in base training, which for us as mere mortal athletes is basically a brisk walk, getting our heart rates up, 45 to 60 minutes a day, and twice a week you speed it up and sprint a little. that gathers a lot of power in our muscles. So that's 3 things: lift heavy, do plyo, and base train.
Okay, so there is another link on that page. I don't know how we're going to click on it, but in that link, it showed when you work out and you do exercise, it actually helps to rebuild your bones. Because when when your body notices that you need it and you're exercising, it builds back the bones. So the more you do exercise, the more you're physically active, you'll actually benefit and you can live longer. In fact, Dr. Vonda says that when you break anything lower, like below your stomach, or when you break your hip or your femur, it actually, for that year, you have a 30% chance of dying. It's very interesting, and I'm going to show you something after that. I want to talk about, this is a lady, her name is Joanne McDonald. She's 79. She works out 4 times a week, and her story was, her daughter works out, and so her daughter told her, look, I don't want you to end up in a nursing home. I don't want you to die because of the general cultural sickness. So she convinced her mom to start going to the gym. And at 79, she looks like that on the left side. So there is hope. And I say this to say there is hope. For all of us, all we have to do is just get a little bit more active. And she's enjoying a better quality of life because now she spends time with her grandkids. She does so many things. And all because she decided to heed the counsel of her daughter. So I wanted to read something very, Ellen White died on July 16, 1915, at the age of 87, at her home in Elms Haven in St. Helena, California. Her death was the result of declining health following a fall on February 13, 1915, in which she sustained a fractured left hip. Ellen White was a normal person like us. And you see, God had revealed the health message to her, but you know, there's a scripture that says there are many things I'd like to tell you that you cannot bear them now. She still hadn't adopted all the health message. She would preach it, and she was getting into following it, but she had succumbed to the usual. I believe it was not God's will for her to die that way, but God allowed it. But just to show us that, you know, taking care of our health is very, very interesting. It says, fractured left hip, intrascapular fracture of the left femur. Following the accident, she was confined to her bed or a wheelchair for 5 months before passing away. That's our dear beloved there. So, as I said before in the health messages, I told the gentleman, I said, the health message is always supposed to be filled with hope. And we have hope. All we have to do is just, you know, maybe visit the gym once in a while, you know, carry some weights, you know, and it will actually help us to live longer. Amen? Amen. Amen.